Hello again, welcome back. We're going to continue talking about enums and, in Swift. We've just created the coffee type enum. Let's move on and look at the switch statement. So an enum, when you use an enum, like I said, under the hood, the base enum is just using numbers like 0, 1, 2. And the value of the enum, or the name of it, is not a value like a string or an object or something like that, right? It's kind of just like a variable name, right? So if we want to turn the T type black tea into a string that we can read, right? This is black tea. Then what we could use is easy way to do that is to use a switch statement, right? Let's try and do this, right? So a few notes about the switch statement. When you write a switch statement, you put the thing that you're looking for here. So imagine that this is a variable that I'm trying to match. And then you create a case for each match. So actually, maybe it's easier to read that one here, right? So here's the T type. Imagine that's a variable inside our boba object, right? And if the T type were set as an enum, right, then we could put dot black tea, right? Notice I don't have to put the name of the enum in front of the dot, okay? That's because Swift will see that type of tea is type T type, and so it knows that T type is an enum and that it has only these cases, okay? Oops. Let's go here. So couple notes, right? When you create the T type, right, you have to be or when you create the switch statement for the enum, it has to be exhaustive. So you have to cover all the cases, right? So if T type has 4 choices, then we have to cover them all here. So in the first case right here, we're covering both black and chai tea, right? So I have both of them here, and then there's also oolong and lavender, and my tea type enum has 4 choices, and I've got them all covered. And the same is true in this example, right? I got 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they're all covered. And if we look at the original T type here, you can see it has 4 cases, right? So you have to be exhaustive. You have to cover everything, okay? If you don't want anything to happen in a case, you can write break, okay? So you can put it doesn't show it here, but we could put break, like if nothing special happens on these 2 types, instead of printing, you could put break there, okay? So cases can't be empty. So you can't put, like, I can't just leave this line empty because I don't want to do anything if T is black or chai, right? Okay. And they work with any data type. So actually a switch case, we're using it with the enum here because it works particularly well with enum, but actually this could have been a number, and then we could have tried to match that value here, or this could have been a string and we could try and match that string in this case, okay? And you can group several cases, right? So yeah, so here's the grouping of the cases here. So we just put a comma, right? So this is case number 1 and this is case number 2, and they both have the same result. Okay, so let's write a coffee case. Okay, so you'll use the switch statement and you'll want to print out the different types of coffee, okay? The names of the coffee. Let's take a look at our code. So let's look at our coffee object here, and it prints out the bean right here, but let's imagine that coffee type is going to replace the bean, right? So we want this to replace the bean. So now if we replace it here, it's going to have some changes in a few places. Let me do this. I'm going to make the change to the boba tea with the T type, and then you'll do the changes for coffee, okay? So I'll walk you through the changes here for the boba tea. So instead of T being a string, I'm gonna change this to T type. Now that's gonna create some problems down below. So, T is set as a string here, but I can't use that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get rid of that and put dot. And as soon as I hit the dot, it code hints me for these things that are, the cases for the enum because it sees that this is a type that's an enum, and enums can only have these choices. So I can put black tea in there. And let me see if I have any other errors. Oh yeah, I can't change tea here to green because it's an enum. So I can do, I could choose oolong instead, right? Let's see if I, oh, here's another one, right? So I have T type here and it's a string. So this create boba is going to have to change to a T type, and the T type here can now be, let's see, oh yeah, actually it can be T type again, right? But lowercase. It's going to be this name right here. Okay. And oh yeah, so here's T type here, but T type is a string. So T type up here is going to have to be the enum type, right? And then down here, now where I've got Jasmine as a type, I need to make sure that this is no longer a string, but instead we use the enum here. So let's get rid of Jasmine there, and then we'll set this one to black tea, right? And then over here, I used oolong, but this requires T type is an enum, so I need to choose one of the enum types. And then, oh yeah, here I guess I made a boba tea instance in this case, so I'll have to change this one to black tea, right? Okay. Oh yeah, and then this one I can't change that one to a string. It's got to be a type. Let's do lavender there, right? Okay. So there you go. A lot of work, not hard work, just changing one thing to another, right? Swapping the strings out for the enum. And just as a note, I put a dot here with the name of the type, right? It's kind of implied that the T type is the value because this first parameter should be the T type enum, right? And if I option click on this guy, oh yeah, so you can see if I option click on T type here, you can see T colon is T type, and that's an enum, right? So actually you can also spell this out. So if I spell out T type like this is another choice for that. So if you want to be explicit, you can say it's T type enum dot black T, right? But since we know that this is the T type, this is a T type, then we can just put dot and the name of the value. Like Swift kind of fills that in for us, so it's shorter to type. Okay. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hey, actually, before we end here, let's try one more experiment. What happens when we print out the T? Right. So T is now the enum, and what do we get here when we print it out? So it says the name still, black and lavender, right? Again, but internally, enum is keeping track of those like not as a string. So we can't always count that these will be a string. So in places that require a string, we'll have to like actually supply a string, right? But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. And actually your challenge now, and I'll go over the solution in the next video, your challenge is to set the coffee type right here, the bean type, to a coffee type, right? So inside coffee, you're going to set bean to coffee type, and then you'll have to go through the rest of your code and make the changes to make that fit, okay? So thanks for watching.